Once again, they're letting you know we have no idea what we're talking about. Welcome to another installment of Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, we NRA certification, multifaceted gun training, also offering aerial photography and drone services. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. But let's talk about this. As you know, the last couple of days, I've been talking about the House Judiciary Committee and H.R. 1808, and which is the assault weapons ban they're trying to push through for 2022, supposedly in response to all the mass shootings that we've been having. But it's not just the House Judiciary that's doing this, because the House Oversight Committee is also trying to do a little ploy. It's like almost like they're burning the candle at both ends, hoping to get a result in the middle. But the House Oversight Committee is holding a hearing on the profit and practices of gun manufacturers, and they brought in Daniel Defense and Ruger. I know those two were there, and it's just mind-blowing what is going on in there. I got a few videos. One's going to be from Porter. I'm not sure. She's Katie Porter from Democrat from California. That explains a lot, because this is going to be mind-boggling to watch. But let's go ahead and watch that.
This is my cell phone. Mr. Kilway, it scans my fingerprint each time I go to unlock it. Is this a weapon?
No, ma'am.
Can this fire bullets that shred people's vital organs? This phone?
No, Congresswoman, it can't.
Then why should this device require more steps to operate than your company's firearms, which have been used in accidental shootings, mass shootings, and homicides?
Congresswoman, respectfully, your cell phone doesn't generate internal pressures of upwards of 60,000 pounds per square inch. The operating system of a firearm is extremely dynamic, extreme high pressures, lots of moving pieces, and
You heard that and you saw that. Now, it's unfortunate the manufacturers weren't a little quicker on the game, because if I was there, I would have immediately jumped right in and asked her, how many times has that fingerprint ID on your phone failed to open your phone, failed to activate your phone so you could use it? Now, I guarantee you she'll come back with some political answer, that will make no sense, a word salad, but then come right back in and say, well, when you go to use your phone, 99.9% of the time, you're not using it in a life or death situation. When you reach for a firearm, 99.9% of the time, you are in a life or death situation. Imagine that fingerprint device not working because you have oil on your hands are sweaty, the adrenaline, you're pressing too hard. I used to sell those, the big Browning safes. I'm not endorsing Browning, I'm just saying they're Browning safes, big Browning safes, and they had the fingerprint ID on them, use your fingerprint to open it up. And I tell you, sometimes those things would not work. Imagine you're in a life and death situation and you reach for your firearm and that fingerprint ID doesn't work. It doesn't register your fingerprint right away. The technology is good, but it's not infallible. That's what the sad part is, and it's just too scary. That's just too much of a risk. I'm always of the opinion hey, if you want this new technology on a gun, all the people that protect you, they have it first. We'll see how it plays out, and we'll go from there. Because I guarantee you, the people who protect them are not going to have it. They're going to be exempt from putting it on their guns. But the infamous, and this one you're going to get a laugh out of, because this is unbelievable. Our favorite progressive, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, pretty much polled as the worst legislator in the Congress at this time, because, getting fake arrested is more important than actually legislating, which is her job. But she had something to say, and this is going to be another one of those mind blowers. You're going to raise an eyebrow on this one, but here we go. You got to hear this one. Let's watch that.
I'd like us to just dive right into it. I have a photo that I'd like to pull up for the committee and our witnesses to be able to see. Can we get that pulled up? It's on. Okay, perfect. Mr. Daniel, you are CEO of firearm manufacturer Daniel Defense. This photograph is from an advertisement featured for your company. Do you know, I'd like to draw your attention to that red tattoo featured in your company's advertisement. Do you know what that tattoo is, Mr. Daniels?
Madam Congresswoman, I'm not sure this is our ad. Can you show the whole ad? Is this our ad or someone else?
Yes, this is your ad, Mr. Daniel. This is an advertisement for your company, Daniel Defense.
Why is the brand name not in the photo?
No worries, no worries. So this is featured prominently in your advertisement, that tattoo. You've indicated that you don't know what it is, but Ms. Sampson, as an expert in this area, can you briefly tell us what that tattoo is?
That's a fall knot, and it's a symbol that has been increasingly embraced by white supremacists.
Okay, it's a val knot. That's, according to this expert, has been increasingly being used by white supremacists. Okay. Let's understand the correlation she's trying to make here. She pulled up an ad from Daniel Defense with a person shooting a rifle who happened to have that tattoo on their tricep. Because that specific design is being embraced by white supremacists, she's trying to make the assumption that the person with it is a white supremacist and that Daniel Defense supports white supremacy. This is where she's trying to go with this. But the ADL, and there's a description of it right here. The ADL describes what this is. The val knot, a knot of the slain, is an Old Norse symbol that often represents the afterlife in carving and designs. It is often considered a symbol of the Norse god Odin. Some white supremacists, particularly racist Odinists, have appropriated the val knot to use it as a racist symbol. Often they use it as a sign that they were willing to give their life to Odin, generally in battle. Here's the part. Non-racist pagans may also use the symbol, so one should carefully examine it in context rather than assume that a particular use of the symbol is racist. So here we go. Daniel Defense, the CEO, does not know who that person is in the picture. The expert does not know who that person is in the picture. AOC does not know who that person is in the picture. They have no context, but because the symbol is being embraced by white supremacists, they immediately go off the rails and say, well, he is a white supremacist and Daniel Defense supports white supremacy. Just a ridiculous tirade. But if we're going to go down that such a loose definition and go down that road of stupidity, the OK symbol, this, which we all use at one point in time, is now being considered a hate symbol, a white supremacy symbol. So, are we now to just basically assume that Ocasio-Cortez is a white supremacist because she threw up the OK symbol? If we're going to use her loose terms, then she is a white supremacist because that's how it works. But let's go back to the video.
So, Mr. Daniel, you may or may not know, but your company's advertisement prominently displays iconography associated with white supremacist movements. You can also find it in this other photo that I will be pulling up right now. Right there from January 6th, you can see the fall knot right there on this gentleman's chest. Mr. Daniel.
Okay, what does this guy from January 6th have to do with Daniel Defense? And once again, what is the context? Did this guy put this on there because he's a racist, or did he put it on there because he thought it was a cool design, or he's into Odin? He's one of these Norse guys. I remember this guy because he was prominently put out there because of the way he was dressed. We don't know the context. We don't know the context of that tattoo on this guy. But what does that have to do with Daniel Defense and manufacturing rifles?
Mr. Daniel, yes or no, are you aware that your advertising department uses imagery affiliated with white supremacist movements in its marketing materials?
No, ma'am, I don't
Okay,
think
no,
we do.
reclaiming my time, thank you. I apologize, I just have to move a bit quickly to fit these questions in. Mr. Bussey, you are a former reclaiming my time. Mr. Bussey, you are a former firearms executive. Do you think that the use of this kind of imagery is welcomed and encouraged in marketing for the firearms industry as a former executive yourself?
I don't think it's welcomed and encouraged, but I think it's looked away from. And I think that there is a aura and an approach in the industry where any single gun customer is good, no matter how detestable their views or their actions may be. And I saw dozens of examples through my career of the acceptance of or looking away from racist things. I think that's different than seeking it out, but I don't think it's properly controlled or addressed.
So in your experience, you believe that a lot of gun manufacturers may turn a blind eye to these kinds of instances?
Yes, Congresswoman, that's correct. I think they've turned a blind eye because the industry has within its DNA now the belief that any single new gun owner is good, no matter what they do or how they market. And that's why you heard earlier the representatives from Ruger and Daniel Defense, both of them have said on the NSSF board would refuse to condemn the ads.
Thank you, Mr. Bussey. And the toxic marketing does do enormous harm. We've seen the results with white supremacists using these weapons to target and kill Black Americans shopping for groceries in Buffalo, attending church
And we've seen Black people use these weapons. Brooklyn subway, the Bronx, the subway shooting in New York. You know, this is the disingenuousness of her as she's trying to make an association that the gun companies are supporting white supremacy. She might as well just peel away layers and just say it, because that's what she's trying to do. And notice, you saw the example there. She would ask the gun manufacturer a question. You say 2 words, she'll cut them off. Reclaiming my time. I gotta move on. I gotta move forward. I got a lot of questions. But when it comes to a person who's going to support her ideal or idea, notice, she lets them speak all the way through. Until, because you know this former firearm executive started to drift a little, she tried to cut him off. It's all garbage. But this is pretty much par for the course, and I'm not going to play anymore because she just keeps going down this road. As you can see, there's a pincer mover going on with the House Judiciary and the House Oversight, all trying to push this narrative at the same time. And I had to play these because I just want to show you how ridiculous these people are, because they're not solving problems. They're not solving the issue. Violence is the issue, because they skip and hop over certain events to then emphasize other events. Buffalo shooting, and then the Charleston church shooting. Okay, and they continuously, both committees, especially the Democrats in those committees, continually skip over what happened in Indiana. It's a farce. It's nonsense. As I said, with all of this, it's not especially the HR 1808, the new assault weapons ban, is probably not going to get out of the Senate because they're not going to get the number of votes needed. But they're going to use that as a crutch going into the midterms to say that Republicans don't care about children. That's basically what, even though that is a new report out that several Democrats in the House voted against HR 1808. So there's a lot to be said there, but we got to keep an eye on this because there's tons of information coming out all the time and people making stupid statements. You know, and I read another report where the progressive Democrat candidates are having a hard time raising money. Well, you can see why. You can see why. People are just not buying into their garbage anymore. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.